All right, I'm at the post office. I've got to drop off, 50 or so postcards that I sold over the past 2 days. I don't want to be overwhelmed on Monday. And as I'm doing this, and as I'm kind of happy with myself for being able to ship out so many postcards in 2 hours, between listing and shipping and all that stuff, I began thinking, okay, what are some things I would not sell? The whole point of my channel, or one of the main points, is to teach people who are getting into resale how to do this. My last video was how dumb it is to sell t-shirts, and that seemed to get some people to look at it. So I'll say how dumb it is to sell books right now, if you do it the wrong way. And this is what I mean. So if you sell books the wrong way, you are going to burn out, because you're going to be working 80 hours a week or 60 hours a week or more than you want to work, and you're not making much money. Because book math is not always on your side. I'm going to break it down for you right now. Let's say between sourcing, between listing, picking, taking pictures, putting it on your inventory shelves, packing it up, all that stuff. Let's say that you can spend 6 minutes per book doing that, which is pretty good. That's pretty low if you think about all of the time that goes into driving somewhere if you are doing that to get books. All of the time that goes into looking up how much a book is worth if you don't know that when you're making the listing, all these things. And if you're using Amazon FBA and you're using any of the softwares out there that can save time by scanning barcodes, obviously this is a different business model. And I'm not talking about why it's dumb to sell books on Amazon. It's not dumb. It's just a different business. I'm talking about why it's dumb to sell books on eBay. And this comes from somebody who's got hundreds, if not thousands, of books listed. And some of those are dumb listings. I should not have listed them. It was because I bought thousands of books, and the way I was checking prices was by listing a book. That was the step in my process. And it was, not a great idea for probably 80% of those books that I listed. I shouldn't have listed. So let's say you can do 6 books, 10 books an hour, 6 minutes per book. Okay, and you're getting books with 100% sell-through rate, which is, again, pretty difficult. How many people do you know who have eBay stores with more than 2,000 listings, which is where you want to be around that number if you want to, have reliable, recurring, regular income. You can't just list 5 things, sell them, and then, be done with it. Where's the money come from then? Who knows? How many people do you know with multiple thousands of listings in their eBay stores who sell everything and completely cleanse their store of all inventory? Maybe if you auction things off, you can do that. But for the most part, I don't think most people have 100% sell-through rate on their items. There's just too many factors involved. But let's say they do. Let's say everything you buy sells with books. You're Nostradamus. Congratulations. You can see the future. You're that kind of person. Every book you buy sells, 100% sell-through rate, 6 minutes per book, 10 books an hour, okay? You are paying 50 cents per book. Now, how much do you have to sell a book for on eBay to make $5 profit on a 50-cent book you sold if you're using promotions, which you pretty much have to get, again, recurring, reliable sales? If you're promoting at between 7 and 10%, and the state tax that you're selling it to, the state where it's going, is between 4 and 8%, you have to sell a book on average for about $11.75. Let's just round up. Let's say $12. You have to sell a book for $12 that you paid 50 cents for to make $5. And you have to do that. You have to find 10 of those books an hour, assuming you can, assuming with all of this, realistically, you'd find 10 books in about 20 minutes. Because the other 4 minutes of your 6 minute listing time, your 6 minute touch time per book is going to be eaten up. So you can find every 2 minutes, you find a book that they're charging 50 cents for to sell for $12. And I know obviously sometimes books go for a lot more, and that's why the successful booksellers here, the successful booksellers are not selling $12 books. They're spending 2 hours to find 8 books that sell for $100 a piece, something like that. That's the way. It's not dumb. That's the way a smart bookseller does it. The way a dumb bookseller does it is they just load their store full of books that are worth less than $12 because they're there. A lot of people who get into the resale business feel this compulsion to buy things and list things because then they're doing their job, when they fail to realize that their job is not just to list things or buy things, but it's actually to make money. You want to be making as much money as possible. And at that at that $12 price point, at that $5 profit per book, if you can do that 10 times an hour, you're making $50 an hour, and that's going to be around $100,000 that you make, which is a good. I think that everyone who does resale and wants to do it as their full-time job, they should shoot for that mark or higher, because anything lower than that, I mean, I get it if you don't have a desire to buy a house or to take vacations or to save money or any of that kind of stuff. You can get by with way less money. But I think if you want to be considered middle class in 20, I don't know, I was going to say 20% of America. There's 20% where you have to make more than $100,000. That's what I'm trying to say. And then the other 80% of the country, I think middle class for a household income is around $100,000. You know, where can you buy a house in a metropolitan area where you can drive to a grocery store or a hospital in 5 minutes for under $200,000? Pittsburgh is one. You know, there are some examples, but the point I'm trying to make is you want to be shooting for $50 an hour. And if you want to do that with books, it's very difficult to do that selling cheap books. That's why it's dumb. That's why it's dumb to sell books on eBay. And again, I guess I need to be totally clear. I'm not saying if you sell books, you are dumb. Okay? I'm just using it as a inflammatory title to get your attention, to make you realize that most likely you are spending too much time pursuing low-value things with a bad sell-through rate that take much more time to source, list, and pick, and all of the stuff that goes in, you know, that's involved in that, the description, the research, buying supplies for it. If you don't buy, you know, there's just so many things that go into it you're not really thinking about, and you have to think about that. Otherwise, you're dumb. I'm sorry. That's the truth.